Did you know that each year there are 1.5 million animals that are being killed from an animal shelter from overcrowding? This is because people are buying animals from breeders, not wanting them, and then giving them away to the shelter. Or even just finding an animal on the side of the road that someone has left there to die. By getting an animal from an animal shelter, it is so much better to save an animal's life and will cost you such less money and will also maybe save your life. I personally have had a pit bull that we got from an animal. Well, it was more of like a rescue. It wasn't from an animal shelter, but it was a rescue service kind of thing. And they were going to kill any pit bulls that were not getting taken from just because they didn't have room for them. No one wanted them, so they were just going to kill them instead of trying to find homes for them. That dog actually turned out to be the best dog that we ever had. He unfortunately passed away. He got hit by a car. But having a dog that has gone through something is, I don't know why, but he was just so much friendlier. He was scared of his own shadow. He loved everybody, and little animals, little babies, every other dog, cats, anything. So my main point of this is, one, it could save your life. Maybe you're going through something traumatic that's just happened and you need something to fill that void. Or maybe it's like a stress thing and you need something to calm you down. Animals are a great thing to do that. Another reason is by getting an animal from an animal shelter, you're saving not only that animal, but you're also making room for another animal to enter the shelter instead of staying on the streets and possibly getting hit by a car or starving to death or anything like that. It also is so much less money to get an animal from an animal shelter instead of a breeder. Breeders can cost up to thousands of dollars. I know someone who's paid like $3,000 for a dog. Animal shelters, I think the fee is like maybe $300, which that money then goes to the shelter to help other animals that are still there. So that's just, it's helping the animal that you're getting because you're giving it a nice loving home, and then it's helping the animals that are still there trying to find their home. So I'm going to start by saying how you can save this animal's life. And I looked for something from an animal shelter so it could give like a little background from it. So by Emmett County Animal Shelter, they said that if people continue buying animals from pet stores or pet mills, so pet mills are like places that just like breed dogs over and over and over again, and they really just use the dog to breed it, and then once it can't have any more puppies, they either kill it or they just get rid of it, which is awful. But by buying them from pet stores or pet mills, there will always be a market for animals being raised in horrible conditions. So this is talking about how you can save 2 lives. So when you're buying an animal from that mill, where it's just processing dogs over and over and over again, the dogs that are living there and being bred, they are not in good conditions. They're outside in a kennel where they're in this little tiny cage where they just throw food in there, and obviously the mother's there to care for the puppies, but excuse me. But it's not conditions like warm and cuddly where like an animal should be, you know? So that by getting an animal from a shelter right there, you're saving an animal that is probably being brought in from a breeder. And of course, I know when you go to a shelter, you never know what kind of dog it really is. Like, it could be mixes of dogs, or it could be like a dog that has like autism, or it's blind, or it's deaf, and like, of course that's hard. But it's always, dogs from shelters are always so sweet, and it does take time. Some of them, of course, have like trust issues, or like they like won't get close to you. But they're always like such sweet, loving dogs. Also, I found a fact that there's over 600,000 dogs that are killed every single year. And then there are over almost 900,000 cats that are killed. And of course, I know it seems like in a year, like, oh, maybe that's not that much. But if you were to think about it, that's like 5,000-ish dogs a week or cats a week. And that's all just from overcrowding. So next, this may also save your life. So say you're having, like, you're going through a stressful time. Like right now, even with like the virus that's going on, everyone, like, they don't have that like connection with like outer side, like outer world. And animals really fill that void. They really know how to like connect to you as a person. They are loving and cuddly. Also, if you have anxiety or depression, a support dog, most of support dogs come from animal shelters. I know it's hard to believe, but also animals that are there have been through something that like even you could be going through, like maybe abandonment issues, like, or most dogs are afraid of their own shadows. Like my dog that I had was terrified of his shadow. He even like saw it and he'd like jump, he'd scatter. But so I got this quote from Val Hart. She says, companion animals can improve your heart rate by regulating your heart rate during stressful situations. Or say you're in school and you're stressed out. Like online school is very stressful. For me, I don't know about anyone else, but it is very stressful. And getting a dog can lower that. And not that it talks you through because dogs can't talk, but by like being there, it like helps you and it calms you down. It also says that it says that studies in your home showing that having dogs with you can lower your blood pressure more than blood pressure like medication does. So that's just another great reason on why you should get an animal from a shelter. Next, I talked about this a little bit with the saving your money. Getting a dog or an animal or like a cat, even if you wanted a little cat, you can spend so much money from a breeder. And if you were to get it from an animal shelter, you're only spending like $300 around that. Some places could be more, some could be less. I actually know one that's like almost $100, if that. Then you can put your money into that animal. You can get them good food, treats, beds, anything you want for that animal. Also, that money goes right into the shelter. It goes from buying the dogs and cats and animals that are in the shelter, buying them food, buying them bedding, buying them toys, treats, any like little thing. So Allie Yale said, by adopting an animal from an animal shelter or a rescue group, you can feel confident that your money is helping the other animals in need. Your fee will fund an organization that is actively working to help animals in need. This also is just a way to feel so much better about yourself because you're helping more than one animal. So I hope by the end of this you realize that by getting an animal from an animal shelter, it is so much more rewarding than from buying an animal from a breeder. So thank you.